Hi, my name is Jenny. I am a practicing naturopath and nutritionist, and I'm here today to talk about sugars because there's two different types in the body and they behave very differently to your body and how they get broken down. So there are complex carbohydrates and there are simple carbohydrates. Now complex carbohydrates, they're the good guys. They're the ones that are in your whole foods. So they're your fruit and your vegetables and your legumes and your grains. And they are long chain sugar molecules and they contain in their cell walls a cellulose fibre. Now what happens is this cellulose fibre resists digestion so that it slows down the breakdown and the release of the sugars into the bloodstream. So it goes slowly into your bloodstream and goes slowly throughout your body. Now this is a good thing because your brain can't store glucose or it can't store energy, so it needs to be constantly drip fed the glucose. Otherwise it gets depleted, or what happens if it gets too much is that it freaks out, and this is what happens with simple carbohydrates because they are already broken down. So what happens is the refined sugar floods your bloodstream and it basically rises your blood sugar levels. It goes to the brain and the brain freaks out because it's got all this excess glucose that it can't store. So it tells the pancreas to secrete insulin, and what happens with the insulin is it triggers the cells in the body to pull all that excess sugar out of the bloodstream to store it for later use. But what happens is because the brain can't store the glucose, it's got no glucose left. And so what happens is it can leave you feeling really tired or spaced out or vague, or even, you know, your focus and you have difficulty concentrating. So that's something that you obviously don't want to happen. And it's called hypoglycemia, and you see it often for adults sort of about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're just really tired and you've had maybe a sugar hit at lunchtime or at about 2 o'clock, and you've gone up and you feel really good, you know, you've got all this energy, and then you kind of crash and you feel really tired. And so to keep your day maintained, you want to have the complex carbohydrates because they are slowly releasing it into your bloodstream. Now for children, you see this often after a party. They've had lots and lots of sugar and they run around like crazy and then they just kind of slump. Now there's a way that you can help combat that, and that's by giving them protein, because protein is another thing that slows down the release of the sugars into your bloodstream. So before a party, what you can do is you can give them a sandwich that's got protein in it, like peanut butter or eggs or meat, or cheese, anything that's a protein. And what happens is it mixes in with the sugars when they have them, and they slow it down so that they don't go crazy and flood the bloodstream. The other good thing is they're not as hungry because they've had a snack beforehand, so they're not going to eat as much of it as well, so that's always a good thing. And so the reason why this is good to know is if you know how to control those highs and lows, you can maintain your energy levels throughout the day. Now I've written a cookbook, and it's called Low to No Sugar Baking. Now in it contains recipes for sweet things and savoury things that contain half a cup of sugar or less, and it often adds in proteins like almond meal, which is ground up almonds, or eggs or things like that are actually going to help to slow down the release of the sugars in the bloodstream. And I'm also using a lot of alternative sweeteners like dates and prunes and maple syrup, things like that also will help to slow down this reaction. So if you'd like to go to my website, it is www.lowtonosugar.co.nz, and on there you'll find other questions about sugar and also a whole lot of recipes that you can try. And if you'd like to get my cookbook, there's also a way to purchase it. Thank you for your time.